This is DJ Rubbish on the ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
Alright, we are recording. Alright, welcome to episode 66 of In Todd We Trust, quarantine edition. We will be reviewing movies that are accessible. It's been a while. Movies that are accessible on streaming platforms and not in theaters because obviously theaters are closed. But want to get things going again. You can still access the podcast at itwtpodcast.com for spoilers-free one-sentence reviews and movie ratings, episode descriptions, song of the week playlist, movie soundtrack playlist, and submission forms to be a guest on the show. Heads up, I am in San Diego now, so if you want to be, if you're in Southern California, then that works. Otherwise, we're going to have to meet up at a different point. You can always listen and watch the podcast on Thursdays, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. I actually got an email the other day about Amazon Podcast, so maybe that will be a new thing in the future. But as of right now, those three platforms. Special guest today. Every guest is special, but Madison is particularly special. Joining us today, aka Maple Latham. She's from Canada, or Mama Latham from I Am Sports. You were the mother of our team.
Ohana. The team name
Ohana forever. Yeah, I don't know what that is. What is that banging in the background? Wow. We also have Liv and Lindsay in the studio here. They're working the AV. Behind the scenes today.
AV chicks.
Yeah, AV chicks. So they're in the background. So if you hear some laughter, then that's them. Welcome, Madison. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for including me as your first San Diego guest.
100%. So Madison and I, some backstory. Well, first of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
I had a birthday last week.
Leo season.
Leo season. Yeah, I feel like there's so many I've had so many birthdays in the last 5 days of friends that I know and stuff, so that's crazy. All back. My sister's birthday is tomorrow, so shout out to her.
Yeah.
A lot of birthdays. Special people, yeah. August birthdays are special. We met freshman year. We were on the same floor freshman year at MSU, and after several different moves from both of us, we now are both in San Diego. So happy that I have you here. Shout out to Case also. Can't mention Case without mentioning Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy. She was a big part of our trio in freshman year.
Yeah, I miss you, Izzy, and hopefully she listens to the episode.
Yes, I'm sure she would.
I'm sure she will. Yeah, we'll have to make sure she sees it. Met you almost 8 years ago. That's crazy.
That is wild.
It feels like a lifetime ago, like that freshman year. And it's nuts. Yeah, it's nuts that we both ended up here. Also, a huge thing. Pandemic, obviously, since the last time I've recorded a podcast. How has quarantine been for you?
You know what? It took a funny shape for me because I was still in school, so transitioned to online classes.
Congrats also for graduating law school.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Round of applause. I don't have the sound effects for round of applause.
That's what
there we go. There we go. AV girls on it.
No, it's been, it's definitely been stressful, and not having the end in sight is stressful for everybody.
Right.
I was going to be kind of self-quarantining this summer anyways with studying for the bar.
Right.
So I kind of don't have to worry about FOMO this summer because everyone's kind of quarantined and sticking around. But it's been good. I've been spending a lot of time with the dogs and
love your dogs.
Yes,
oh my goodness.
They're good. They're good pups, but they do require a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So,
no, I definitely have not thought. I've not forgotten about them since Friday, since meeting them.
Yep.
I definitely made a connection with, what's the girl?
Gypsy.
I made a connection with Gypsy, even though I can't remember her name just now. We had a connection for sure.
She's hard to forget.
She is hard to forget, yeah.
So lovable.
Yeah, I love big dogs that don't know how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
She just sits on your lap and I'm like, oh, you're pretty heavy. But
wiggles her entire body.
Yeah, I'm like, it's cool. I'm just going to let it fly because you're so cute. Honestly, quarantine has been pretty okay for me as well. It started off a little rocky.
Right.
I had just moved out here to San Diego 3 days before we went into quarantine. Crazy timing, but happy to have the beaches and also the weather to be in quarantine. So it could have been a lot worse. They were still getting snow in Michigan up until May, I even saw. So not consistently, but they were sprinkled. You know how the Midwest is.
Yeah.
So So yeah, definitely was happy to be here, and it's been good. It's it's kind of taking shape now, and been able to meet some people and do
falling
things
into
like that.
place,
So,
and you're working a bit more finally.
I'm working a bit more, yeah. So I'm like kind of unemployed still, but like I'm coaching classes at Orange Theory, so it's like it's crazy. Yeah, quarantine has been nuts for a lot of people, but been able to stay healthy and now coaching outdoor classes at Orange Theory. So so it's been cool.
Yeah,
it's been cool.
And the sunshine helps.
The sunshine definitely helps. 100% it helps. It is it's been great. No college football though this season, which for a Big Ten at least.
Yeah, I thought I saw that trickling out of every sort of division.
I think we saw it coming, honestly, but it was kind of a letdown. But honestly, the biggest thing is just like everyone's safety. So if everyone's safe, then it's kind of worth it. I don't know if Liv, actually one of our AV girls, goes to Alabama, so I think they're gonna power through no matter what. Down there. Yeah, football's a religion down there, so I think they might power through. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. Also, funny story. This happened a couple weeks ago, but I obviously didn't have the podcast, but I've been wanting to share it. I was obviously wearing a mask, and not wearing a mask has become, because we live in the United States, politicized. And this is not to be political, but just a funny story. At the grocery store the other day, a guy didn't want to wear a mask, so he acted like he was deaf. Because one of the things is, if you're deaf, because you use lip reading and obviously to speak and communicate along with sign language, they will allow you to not have a mask. So he tried to act like he was deaf so that he didn't have to wear a mask. So I'm behind him in line at the store. He asks one of the clerks to help him at the self-checkout. The clerk goes, well, wait, what? I thought you were deaf. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like, no, but like I need your help here. And the guy's like, well, you need to put a mask on, like, before I can come help you. Like, leave, go get a mask on. We'll save the spot, and you can come back. And he's like, come on, man. Like, just check me out. Like, that's your job or whatever. And the guy's like, well, yeah, but you lied to me about, like, and now you need my help. So they go back and forth, and I'm just like, hey, I don't care. Another one opens up, another station opens up. I go to that station. So now they drag me into it for whatever reason. I'm just an innocent bystander. And the clerk goes, hey, like, do you see this guy over here? Like, he doesn't want to wear a mask. Like, people just don't listen. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just trying to cash out. I'm just trying to get some grapes and go home. Like, some Talenti, ice cream. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I came here for. So,
staples.
Yeah, just the staples. And I was just like, what's going on here? So people are just ridiculous.
Yeah, just a little bit of an entitlement thing there.
Yeah, again, I don't feel like it's a size thing, but just like be considerate people, just wear a mask and just follow the rules, go and get what you need to get. Don't draw me into your arguments. If you're gonna act like you're deaf, just commit to it fully. Learn sign language if that's really the route you want to go. I can help you. I know sign language. So
do you?
I know a little bit of sign language. Took 3 years of it in high school. So.
Did you? That's impressive.
Yeah, almost failed Spanish, so then I had to switch to sign language. So that's kind of how that happened. But nevertheless, know a little bit of sign language. Also, update too. I'm gonna update every week. I'm gonna learn how to surf.
Yes, you are.
I know we discussed that. Either Millie or Nate, or a combination of the two, are going to teach me.
I think so. We'll just have a big squad out there.
We'll have a squad.
Mission Surf Todd Surf.
Yes. So I will be updating the podcast listeners weekly on that journey. Right now, I have not yet gotten in the water with a surfboard. I've gotten in the water, just no surfboard. But it's coming, and then I will let you all know my progress. If you don't hear a progress update from me, then you know that it's not going well.
I will hold you accountable.
Yes, please do. So I'm going to reach out to them this week. Also a hiker boy now, so
yes,
it's not a lot of hiking options in the Midwest. There's some, but definitely a lot more here.
Yeah.
Because of the terrain, and yeah, I'm typically afraid of heights, so it's weird how that works out. But I'm conquering that fear, and hiking has been good. So
what's the best one you've done? Most difficult too.
Mount Baldy was pretty cool.
Oh, I don't even know that.
That one is closer to LA. It's probably like 2.5 hours from here.
Okay.
Well, no, it's probably about 2. So anyway, drove there, did that one. I didn't even make it to the peak because it gets really steep, and really gravelly and a lot of loose rock, and I panicked. So then I went back. So I made it up. I made it up pretty high, but then ended up turning back. But the point I made it to was already high enough. So yeah, that one was pretty good. It was pretty difficult. The back half of it is very difficult, but I definitely want to go back and go up. I heard there's a different route that's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go back and do that. So I have to conquer Mount Baldy.
No, I have seen your posts of all your hikes, and they look fun.
They're fun.
Definitely
awesome.
a workout. You gotta get your shoe reviews in. Too,
Absolutely. Yeah.
New trail running shoes.
Yeah, I got my trail runners. Those are great. So I'll let you see them. If you're lucky before you leave. So So all right, we will move on. One of my favorite parts of the podcast is Song of the Week. What's your Song of the Week, Madison?
Well, I actually deferred to my sister Olivia to come up with the Song of the Week. So Liv, can you share with us what the song is?
Yes, it is Be Like That by Sway Lee and Ian Brown and Khalid.
Wow.
I haven't heard that, but now that's a good trio.
Yes.
Is it brand new?
I don't know, but it has big San Diego vibes and it's awesome.
Ooh, okay. I'm checking that out.
I listened to it for the first time last night. I can
You can
confirm
attest?
it
Okay.
hits.
Okay.
It hits hard.
Ooh, I have to listen to that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything Sway Lee. I don't know if Sway Lee or Khalid can like make a dad song.
This is true.
There's songs that
yeah.
I listen to and I'm like, that's not necessarily my favorite. I won't add it to the library. But they don't make bad songs.
No, I agree.
Definitely gonna check that out. My song of the week is "Please Don't Make Me Cry" by little different vibes. Little different vibes. Yeah. I'm not sad, just by the way. But it is a jam by Leanne LaHavis. She has kind of like a jazzy sound to her, but really like her. She just dropped an album a couple weeks ago, and yeah, this she's a really beautiful voice, pretty good writer. So yeah, been jamming out to that. Definitely a different vibe.
Yeah.
Listen to it in a different state of mind. But a good song.
The end of my day when I'm unwinding, glass of wine.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
And
definitely
I'll
a
just
vibe.
make the whole house listen to it.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah. It has to be
good.
nighttime. Maybe if it when it seldomly rains in San Diego, so that's more the vibe.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the podcast here is random rapid fire.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but you have no prep for. I told you it was coming, but you don't know the
did.
questions. You ready?
Yes, I think so.
All right. 8 questions that you have no prep for. Here we go. Have you ever gone on vacation with someone you didn't want to?
Yes.
Yes. Who was it? Do you want to share or no?
I'd rather not.
Okay. You can tell us off air.
Off air.
What's
It's kind of funny.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear this story. What's the most embarrassing text you've ever sent to the wrong person?
Oof. That's a hard one. Probably said some wrong things to my sister here, actually. Like, whether it was an inadvertent photo, don't know.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Not in a naughty way, just saying.
I mean, now I'm worried. Yeah, now I'm worried.
No.
Well, Liv, I apologize on your behalf.
Thank you.
That's hard to think of. I'm sure it's happened. I just can't pick a moment.
Off the top, yeah. Have you ever gone on a blind date?
No, I have not.
Yeah, that would scare me.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to have a lot of trust and faith in the person who's setting it up.
I agree. And I've got some good friends, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
know you well enough.
Yeah.
You know.
That's tough. No, I have not been on a blind date before.
Would you rather quarantine with David Spade or Rob Schneider?
David Spade, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, they're both hilarious, but yeah, I'll
Yeah,
probably
get
go.
good laughs out of each one.
I
but
go with Dave probably.
Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done at work?
At work. Besides, like, messing up on a task.
Yeah. That could be it too. You messed up really bad.
Man. I may be hesitating here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Most embarrassing thing I've done at work.
Tough one. You can circle back around.
Yeah, I might have to.
Circle back around.
That's rapid fire, Todd.
I know.
Is that the last question?
No, it's not.
No.
It's not. We got a couple more. These next few ones are a little bit easier.
Okay.
Would you rather be hypnotized for a week or swim in shark-infested waters for 15 minutes?
Probably hypnotized for a week.
Yeah.
I don't know. 15 minutes
You just
would
don't
feel
remember
like
the whole week.
forever.
Yeah. I know.
A whole week, but you do remember being hypnotized?
No, you don't remember. So you just wake up a week later and you don't know what you did.
Oh no. That could cause
It's
some
tough.
major secondhand
I know.
anxiety.
I know. That would be tough.
I think I'd still rather the hypnosis. Yeah.
I feel ya. I might would go with that. I might would go with that as well.
Yeah, I
I'd be
think
too
so.
scared. Favorite slushy flavor?
Grape.
Great. That, I
Love
don't know if
grape
I've heard that
slushies.
one.
7-Eleven. Used
They
to
don't miss,
always have
yeah.
them. Maybe it's a nostalgic thing, like they used to have grape flavor. But yeah, that was
It's a good
always my
slushy
favorite
flavor.
growing up.
If you had to rewatch the same movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The Wrong Missy.
That's great. That is amazing. I know how much you love it. I'll let you get into it once we start here. But I do know that this is your jam. So IMDb description for The Wrong Missy. Tim thinks he's invited the woman of his dreams on a work retreat to Hawaii. Realizing too late, he mistakenly texted someone from a nightmare blind date. The release date on Netflix, because this is a Netflix original, was May 13th of this year. Notable cast: David Spade, Lauren Lapkus, Nick Swardson, and Rob Schneider also makes an appearance in there. He's not a huge part, but obviously a huge name. Director was Tyler Spindle. Nothing really notable to date other than this movie. Writer was Chris Pappas, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Kevin Barnett. Together they've both done The Righteous Gemstones, a couple episodes on HBO. It's a really funny show, really stupid show, but I definitely laugh. The Do-Over, which is also a Netflix original with Adam Sandler. Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then Hall Pass, which was in theaters. They've also done that one as well. Runtime for this movie is an hour and 30 minutes, which I think is kind of the sweet spot for movies, in my opinion. So, pre-movie, before you watched it, you're about to gear up to watch it, you see the preview. What were your thoughts going in, if you can remember? I know you've seen it multiple times
right.
now, but...
No, thinking back, I think I was just interested to watch anything that was kind of a Happy Madison production. I love all Adam Sandler's movies. David Spade's just consistently hilarious.
He is, yep.
So I think I was excited to watch it. I was definitely in the mood for a comedy before the first time. So yeah, I think initial thoughts were okay. Could be a little cheesy, but the comedy's there.
Yeah,
that was my impression.
So I didn't know much about it. I didn't know it was a Happy Madison until it actually the film started, and I was like, oh, okay, got it. So it kind of put me in the right mindset of what to expect. Going in though, my expectations were low just because it was a Netflix movie, and I was like, okay, Netflix movie can go either way. There's some good Netflix movies. There's some that I'm like, I don't know. I do like David Spade though, so that was kind of what drew me in. I was like, I don't know, Netflix movie. Oh, David Spade, consistently funny. I'm down to watch.
There we go.
And I had a good recommendation to watch it, so I was like, okay, I respect that. I'm gonna watch it, check it out. Also, it's quarantine, so it was in quarantine when it came out. So I was like, I don't really have anything else to do. Any other reason? And also, I was eating Chipotle and queso and chips at the time, so that kind of like heightened my mood too.
You were already
I was in a good mood. Yeah, I was in a good mood. I was ready for something good to watch. So definitely adds to the enjoyment. If you don't know, listening, then you've probably lived under a rock or don't follow me. If you listen, don't know that I love Chipotle with all my heart.
Yeah, Die Hard. You should be sponsored.
I should be. They're probably thinking like there's no need to sponsor him because he's going to give us money anyway. So, I mean, that's probably, if I was them, I probably wouldn't sponsor me, but still I would love, I would love a sponsorship Chipotle when you do listen. So opening, this probably, as a scene, this might have been my favorite part of the movie, and what kind of like set it up to be like, make me like super excited to watch the rest of it. The opening scene was so funny to me.
Oh my gosh, I think I had the opposite reaction.
Really? Yo, yeah, you did tell me that. Yeah.
So the first 5 minutes, that date scene, the blind date scene, I thought, oh, this is gonna be a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's like this girl is intense.
Right.
And I think, I don't know, it only went up from there.
Yeah.
But I will come around and say, now it just sets it up for perfection.
Yeah. So I'm about to say, so after watching the whole film, when you watch the first part now, is it funnier, or are you still kind of like, this was overdoing it?
Oh, funnier now.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
First time though, I definitely thought, what are we in for?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, so I didn't really know much about the movie going in. Like, it was literally like a friend suggested, yo, you should watch this, and I was like, all right, cool, and I just like went in. And I'm like, okay, so it's starting, and I'm like, okay, all I know is that he goes on a blind date, goes bad. And I'm like, yo, this is just like, I think it was like the shock value. Like, I think a lot of and honestly, a lot of the movie is shock value, just like she says stuff that you just don't expect her to say.
Not at all.
And you're just like, whoa, what? And I definitely rewinded certain parts. One, because it's be like, wait, did I hear that correctly? And also because it's just so funny. So it set it up. I was like, okay, this is hilarious. And then also I was like, I totally want to pull that prank, like the blind date prank on somebody.
Good.
It's a great prank.
Execution was perfect.
Execution's amazing. I just don't know how well that would go on an actual blind date. If that's how you want to introduce yourself.
Well, it didn't go well.
It didn't go well, yeah.
so there you learned it.
It's a gamble. You have to go into it thinking like, hey, if this person hates me, they hate me. But like, at least I got the joke off.
Yeah.
That's definitely a bold move. He mentioned that, and it comes up again in the movie, that he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because obviously I don't drink.
Right.
And it's very true that a lot of times when I tell people I don't drink, they're like, oh, like, you know, do you mind if I ask why? Or like they assume that there's like, oh, did you have like a really bad experience? I was like, honestly, no, like I just never was like into it.
Right.
But it is funny because that is like the instant reaction most of the time.
Yeah, and they talked about that a couple times
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, they brought it up
when
a
he
couple
does
times.
meet the right Missy.
The right Missy, yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she said she didn't drink, so I always thought that was funny throughout college, especially when that's basically like the main
The
pastime.
culture.
Yeah, it's the culture. So yeah, that was funny for me. And then I do have, what's funny also, I have a friend, Marissa, and hopefully Marissa doesn't listen to this, but who has like a similar style of joking as Missy, the wrong Missy.
I think I lost her.
Yeah. She's like very dry though, so it's very weird. It's like she's not as eccentric, like she's very like low key and she's really monotone.
Yeah.
But she just makes like these just crazy jokes sometimes, and it definitely, like, as I'm watching the second time, I was like, she kind of reminds me of Marissa. I don't think Marissa would appreciate that comparison.
You know what? My brother makes that comparison for me.
For you?
So when he said that, and my boyfriend Jake will say the same thing.
That's
And I
amazing.
think, what are you guys talking about? I am nothing like Missy. And
Yeah.
like, well, they end up together, so it's a good
They try to
thing.
clean it up? Yeah.
Right. Marissa, if you are listening,
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing.
Your kindred spirits. Oh, that's hilarious. Acting wise in the movie, what who was your favorite character? I mean, I feel like this is an easy answer, but
Right.
like,
Now, I'm drawing a blank on what the character's name is, but Nick Swartzen's character.
yeah,
What is his name? Do you remember?
I don't remember his name. No,
Okay.
I always forget names.
He's Tim, so David Spade's character's
Yeah.
assistant.
Right.
But he just has the funniest lines coming in, like spying on Tim all the time, reading his
Yeah.
personal and work emails.
That was amazing.
I find him absolutely hilarious. So he was a great character, and Missy with just all of her different talents
Antics,
and
yeah. And
antics.
talents, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I think those are two of the best. Two
Yeah.
of the best for me. How
Yeah.
about yourself?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I think that that Missy was just like, she was the star of the movie. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Which, I mean, obviously was the point. But there's certain movies, and I would make the same comparison for her, where like it's essentially a stand up for that person. So I feel like I'm watching like Lauren Lampkus like stand up.
Yes.
So kind of like if you've seen Deadpool with like Ryan Reynolds,
Mhm.
like very much the same. Like it's just like the Ryan Reynolds show.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of other like characters that you're like, oh, I like them, but it's literally like I feel like I'm watching like 2 hours of him doing stand up.
Yeah.
Or like Trainwreck with Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Like again, it's very much just like focused on her. Girl Trip was another one with Tiffany Haddish where it's just like everyone's funny, but like she's the main show. And I feel like the same thing with this.
Agreed.
Where she just, and I think she did a great job
She
at
does
it.
a great job, yeah.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like a lot of it felt like she was doing like improv.
Mhm.
Like, and I know that that's her background. I think she's in SNL.
I think she's on SNL, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, it makes sense, but it definitely comes off like there were probably parts in the movie where it was written, and then other stuff where she just like improv off the top, and they kept it in.
I can picture so many scenes that she probably winged it.
She totally, yeah, I would totally guess that she went in, and I don't have any, also to you and anyone that's listening, I didn't do any background research on this. What's really funny is sometimes people will like hit me up and be like, fact check me, and I'd be like, oh, like, I don't fact check any, like, I definitely don't go back and like research any of this stuff. This literally just opinions off the top of my head. But I would totally guess that she improv some of that
Wouldn't
stuff.
put it past her.
Yeah.
No, she was impressive.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, so I liked her in it. David Spade was interesting, I thought, because I feel like, well, first of all, before I go into like his actual acting, what are the odds that the right Missy would have been into David Spade
Right.
in real life?
I kind of thought that too.
Like,
They
I
were
don't know.
like, I don't know, they were in the same position in
Yeah,
life.
and also
Yes,
off of first meeting. And I
Right.
won't speak to her just being into David Spade or his character Tim the person.
Right.
But like you just bump into Tim and you look up and you're just like, ooh, Tim.
Ooh, I'm gonna go back and get a drink or
Yeah.
not a drink.
Yeah.
with
I don't
him
know.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I don't know
thought
about that,
too.
Tim.
You know, I watched it with my 3-4 boy roommates,
Yeah.
and they all said, "Wow, he's a lucky man in that janitor's closet." Because
Yeah,
I don't
right,
think
yeah.
that would happen in real life.
Yeah, he was definitely kicking out of his coverage. So yeah, that definitely was not believable. But and I didn't think, like, the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, oh, okay. And the second time I was like, wait a second, let's rewind here. People are fighting over David Spade.
I will say, a good friend of mine says that if you can't make them look, make them laugh.
You know,
so
yeah.
David Spade.
I agree. Yeah. Hey, shout out to
that.
not hating on David Spade at all. Do your thing, David. And then, and I thought his character was like weirdly dry. Like he was very like soft spoken and just kind of like mild. Which, after watching it again, I understood like because David Spade is very funny and very eccentric.
Right.
Like he's in roles where he's definitely like. He's the loudest one in the room.
Joe Dirt,
yeah, he's
a
great example. But he's definitely like Rules of Engagement was a show that was on for a while that I thought he was really funny in. But he's definitely the guy where like he's in the room, he's gonna make his presence known. But I feel like watching again for the second time that he couldn't have done that in this movie with Missy because she's taking up so much. So if he was like also trying to be the star, it would have been kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So he kind of had to reel it back, and he was still funny, but it was like very dry, very subtle, like comments under the breath that you like catch watching again. Like, okay, that was really funny.
When he was fed up with Missy, he'd say something under his breath.
Yeah.
Or, and those moments were hilarious. But understated too.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
It was well put.
It was, yeah. I thought he did a good job switching it up there because, again, I think he is one of those people who's very comfortable being like the center of attention a lot of times.
Yeah.
Some of Missy's one-liners I thought were like they need to be nominated for Oscar, just the one-liners alone. Like
new category this year.
New category. I totally think that the Oscars should create a category for like best dialogue, and it's just like anywhere from 1 to 3 sentences from a movie that was just like chef's kiss, like just beautiful.
Brilliant.
Her comedic timing was just so good at so many points. Oh my goodness! Like it was. I don't. Do you have a favorite line of hers? Off the top, I don't know if there's a part where you're like, oh man, she really got me here.
The whole introduction to Hellstar, the very first scene where she jumps in the. Actually, okay, I'll just take it like 2 minutes earlier into the movie from the introduction of Hellstar, where they walk into the beautiful resort room. And she's just going crazy, saying like, "Mama Spanky could get used to this. Are you rich?" Is like freaking out. I guess that's not really a one-liner. That's a little bit of a monologue.
Yeah, but still
hilarious.
It still would be submitted for this 1 to 3 sentences for.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, for the
How
Oscars.
about you?
She, I think that same scene like. Is this certain stuff that she'd say like and like thinking back, and this wouldn't be the example I was going to use, but like going back to her being in the jacuzzi or whatever at the hotel, like introduction to Hellstar, and she's like, "Here, jump in the water, like so we can see if your pecker floats to the top." Like that, she just says that and just moves on, and I was like, "What? How do you just say like?" She just had lines like that where I'm just like, she would just say it and keep moving, and I would just lose it.
So classic, or her whole like. Showed him my Sheila. Her knife.
Yeah. And I was like, what? No, so yeah.
Very funny.
She's hilarious. I think my favorite part of the movie and favorite part of favorite scene was definitely the first part, but one of her lines she had that I don't know why it just got me. And I kept rewinding it is when she started counseling his boss's wife. Started doing marriage counseling. And they go back to the room, and she has like all this money, and she's like, "Yeah, like I have her on retainer now."
I'm the one doing all the business.
And she said that I lost. She's like, "We came here for your work. I'm the one doing all the business."
Yeah.
I lost it. I don't know what it was about that line that just got me. But yeah, like I think that was like the funniest line to me, and I like rewinded it. I'm not exaggerating. First time I watched it, I rewinded it 5 times, like just that whole part. So it definitely is good for that. And again, even though there are moments where it's like shock value, like him waking up to her, like giving him a hand job on like the plane, where it's like, what? Like just like wacky, just like what in the world's going on? Weird. Like there are also points where it's like, no, that was actually like very intelligent humor. Like it was very smart. Like how, like just the timing. It was just smart. So I definitely respect that as well. So they did, like I said, I thought she did a really great job.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. She definitely pulled off a lot of awkward lines and scenes.
That not anyone could just do.
Right.
Like some people who would say the same things, I would be like, oh, that's kind of annoying or stupid. But she did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I also wonder if I feel like she pulled it off so well because I had never seen her in any other really role.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to expect from her as an actress, besides maybe having seen a skit or two on SNL. Right. So yeah, maybe seeing her in like a role, in a movie role, kind of with no expectations, did her justice.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point. She had a point too that actually reminded me of something here in San Diego, when she tried to dive off the cliff.
Oh.
And she just falls down, and then she gets to the bottom, and she gets up, and then she just gets destroyed by the wave. And it just took me immediately back to my first time at Windansea, and I tried to get in the water, and I just like the undercurrent at Windansea.
Yeah.
And I told you I tried to jump a wave, and literally like my entire back just went down. I just got destroyed, slammed. I had sand in my ears for like 3 days. Like literally, it was getting like I would just be like scratch my ear, and I'd be like, wait,
is that
this
still
grains
there?
of sand? Yeah, crazy.
That won't be your last time
Yeah.
getting taken out either.
No, it won't be. It won't be. I was just scoping them out when we were there the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really hope this is not where Millie wants to go surf
Yeah.
the first time. So,
My brother came home yesterday after having been there and said the same thing. He showed me his back. It was all scratched up.
oh
Did the
my
same
goodness.
thing.
Yeah, sand everywhere. And the rocks. It's intimidating. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think it's the most beautiful beach
Best
that I've
beach.
been to.
I agree.
But it's definitely scary. You gotta be careful there.
Yeah, she owned that cliff dive.
Yeah, she
really
definitely
went
owned
for it.
Yeah, like parts like that where it's like, again, I think movies sometimes fail where it's just too much of just like absurd moments. Like that's an absurd moment where like obviously she would have died in real life, but it just was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And they just didn't overdo it. They
Right.
mixed it in, like I said, with some smart humor. I personally, again, the whole premise of the movie, I'd be traumatized if I texted the wrong person.
Yes.
Like in that situation, like that would have been like horrible. And also, how many Missies do you know?
Yeah.
I know like one
where does
Missy
that
ever.
come from?
Yeah.
Agreed.
You meet 2 Missies in the course of like a couple weeks, like that's insane.
Now I see where your rapid fire questions came from. They're movie related.
Your movie, see,
Blind
it's tied in.
date,
There you
wrong
go.
messages. I see.
There it is. It's tying in now. But yeah, I would have been mortified. One of my biggest fears actually is that I send a screenshot that I take making fun of someone to
Oh,
that
no.
person. That's like one of my biggest. I've never done it.
Someone sent one to me once.
Oh no.
I know. I
What was it?
offended.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember. It was something like this girl and I. We weren't in an argument, but it was
Yeah.
about schoolwork or something, and we just disagreed. And
Yeah.
she sent me a screenshot of our conversation, which she obviously meant to send to someone else.
For sure, yeah.
So I just responded like, "Wrong person," even though it's
That's
kind
great.
of passive.
Yeah.
but-
And she just feels stupid.
yeah, she probably felt. Yeah, I
Oh
don't,
my
think, I
God.
don't think she responded.
Oh
so.
yeah. What do you see? What do you even say?
Yeah,
You can't
that's
say anything.
embarrassing.
Yeah, that's like my biggest fear, and I'm like, I know, like one of my thoughts too is like, the day I die, whenever that is, hopefully not soon at all. Someone gets my phone and they just see all these screenshots of like, whoa, Todd was like talking about all of us, like,
What does this mean?
yeah, what is this? Yeah, they're trying to like decode like what point was I getting to? But yeah, now I go through and I like we'll have like once a week go through and like just delete all the screenshots I have of people.
Okay, that's paranoia.
It is. I'm like, man, I just don't know. Like,
Get rid of those.
Yeah, I can't have evidence of me making fun of people. But yeah, no, and also texting someone you don't know is tough anyway. So he's going into this. He sent it to the wrong person. But even prior to that, when he's texting her, like it's just so hard to text people that you don't like that you only met a couple times.
Yeah.
Because I feel like text messages are so doctored when you do that because you have so much time to come up with your response.
Yeah.
So everyone, like when you're texting, is trying to be like witty and like funny and come up with the best response, and you're not getting like a genuine like instant reaction.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even, and you can't check tone either. So it's like texting is tough when you don't really know
Yeah,
the
there's
person.
always miscommunication like that.
Always.
Going to be best, safe to just err on the side of emojis.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Let people know you're not mad.
Yeah, I definitely am. I feel like I use emojis more than like sometimes I'll gauge my emoji usage, and I'm like, wait, am I using too?
Are you
'Cause
checking yourself on
Yeah.
your emojis?
I'm like, am I doing too much with the emojis? Like, how many emojis are they using? Yeah. So I don't want to like do too much, but and you have to add some variety. Like, I don't use the same emoji all the time,
Right.
so. But they're a good tool.
Yeah.
If someone invited you on a retreat that you had just met, you kicked it off, would you go? Like a week after meeting them?
Probably.
Yeah.
If it was to Hawaii like that, I'd consider it.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Share
that.
my location with everybody.
For sure. I think the fact that it's a work retreat too, that kind of helps. Like, okay, cool. If
Yeah.
I'm flying out, it's a work retreat, so it's not just us. I feel like that would be like a bold move. It's just
Yeah.
you and the other person you just
Some
met.
guaranteed time alone at the beach while
Yeah.
they're working, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, to Hawaii, I have to pay for the flight. I probably would.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I'd
for a couple
consider it,
days.
For sure.
So I was thinking about that, and I was like, that actually wouldn't be the craziest thing. What would you say was the funny. And I know you said maybe this is also the funniest and your favorite part, but the Hellstar introduction. But it's funny. It's a lot of lowbrow humor, but it's also a lot of stuff where I'm just like, is this funny?
This is
funny.
Yes. Another funny scene, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Where they're swimming with the sharks on the boat, and Missy thinks she can attract sharks by dumping the chum in the water.
Yeah.
Goes wrong, spills the chum on herself, ends up bringing up right over the shark cage that Tim and his boss are in. That scene to me is so funny, where Rob Schneider's character comes in, is like, hey, say hello to the shark. Together, and then punches him with his like mangled hand. That scene to me had me rolling. It does have me rolling every time I watch it.
It's so wacky. It's so funny. The boss, and as you said, made me think about the boss and just his dialogue and like
oh my gosh.
him like talking about his wife with Evander Holyfield. Like that whole point is just hilarious. Like what? Like, and it's funny because I feel like I know people who would like legit be excited if they were married to someone who had like dated or hooked up with like a super famous celebrity they like admire. Like how would you react? Like I know like for me, I love sports, but I love like LeBron James.
Yeah.
And like how would I feel if I met a girl who was like, oh yeah, me and LeBron had like a fling. Like, I don't know if like I don't know how I feel.
I don't know.
Like,
It'd be a little intimidating, but at the same time, that's kind of like, she's with me now.
Yeah, like you chose me with LeBron.
Cool. Yeah. You must share some qualities.
Yeah, I must be the best basketball player. So
flattering.
Like, so maybe that's how I would probably rationalize it that way just to help
I think
out.
you have to.
You'd have to, for sure. I probably wouldn't be bragging to everyone about it, like, yeah, he still texts her like that. But I thought that was hilarious in the movie.
Unless you're getting like courtside tickets.
You know, I mean, it's okay.
Mind a text here and
I
there.
want a little FaceTime if I get courtside tickets to, the playoffs.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was really fun, we mentioned it earlier, was the coworker hacking his phone and stuff. Yeah. Like that was like he just bring it up like, bro, when she texted this last night, like I was losing it.
I know, and he doesn't hide it either.
No.
It's like, well, change your password. Don't use your same password for personal and work.
It was. I thought that was great. He's also great in a movie that I think is very similar to this one. I think the other movie is, I'd say, is better. I know you disagree because this is your favorite movie of all time, but just go with it.
Yes.
Sandler, very similar movie. But I think that movie, I think Just Go With It is better. But him and that Dolph, in that
Dolph
movie,
Lundgren.
amazing. Like he was amazing in that too. So definitely very similar. I thought that it was a lot of really funny parts. The ending, how did you feel about the ending?
I was happy. He obviously fell for her, which was very sweet and kind of unexpected. The whole time I thought, there's no way.
No.
And I don't know, I was pleased with the ending, I think. She gave him the cold shoulder, when the right Missy showed up.
Right.
So, she stood her ground for a little while. I was
sensible,
proud of her.
yeah.
She was sensible. Wasn't all crazy.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was a nice ending, and it came full circle with the blind date joke at the end. You know? So he tries to pull it on her.
Yeah.
She ends up needing vanilla ice. Yeah.
Or iced tea, vanilla ice.
Vanilla ice. So I thought that was good, full circle.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought it was. I like that they ended up together, and it's like, okay, cool. Like I know, like it's not a romantic comedy, but it's definitely a comedy, and they have like, a little bit of romance there. But no, I like they ended up together. We've got the happy ending. I thought he kind of got the better end of the deal, like even with the wrong Missy, because she's a lot of fun. I mean, obviously in real life we'd be like she's psychotic. It's not, something's wrong with her, but no, I feel like she was just her. You know what I mean? And I always can respect people who are them and comfortable with being them.
Yeah.
And I feel like I never understood when like people try to change other people, whether it's your friend, family member, someone you're dating. And just accept them for who they are. And if you can't, then move on. Yep. So, but
there you have it.
I like that they ended up together. So final verdict. I know yours already. It was parts where I was embarrassed at how hard I laughed at them.
Own them.
I gotta own it, yeah. Even like by myself sitting here, I was just like cracking up. But no, it was really funny. It's one of those really ridiculous movies that I would definitely suggest for someone to watch. I don't know if I'll watch it 20 times like you, but I would totally tell someone you have to see it one time.
Yeah.
And then would definitely bring up, I feel like you can't bring this movie up without bringing up like a Just Go With It and saying like, hey, check them both. I think they're both worth checking out.
Yeah.
Just Go With It. Again, like I said, it's amazing.
Jen Ann.
Jen Ann, yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Adam Sandler. Check that out, but definitely put me in the mindset of that. But yeah, I thought it was good. Rating 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I would have to give it a 10, and I know this whole podcast from my end has just been biased because.
Well, no, it's fun.
I
Everything's
love
biased.
this movie.
Everything's biased. Yeah.
I have to give it a 10.
That's
I
fair.
don't think I could say a bad word
On the
about
10,
it.
yeah. I gave it. Now, I always preface my ratings for people who are just listening, and also for those who really love the movie, that my ratings are very harsh. I think I've given out like 2 10s.
Wow.
I gave it a 6.3.
Okay.
Because I thought it was good. I know my ratings don't reflect that. Like, that sounds really harsh, but I do think it's good, and I definitely would suggest watching it. I'm going to do this a little differently than what we do with movies in theaters. Whether you should not watch it, it should get the top of your list or the bottom of your list of things to watch right now streaming. I would put it at the top of the list. I say that if you have not seen it, it's definitely worth it. If you have some time, you're looking for a comedy, we definitely suggest this to someone. I've suggested it to other people since I've seen it. So yeah, that was really good. Suggested movies or shows. I know I didn't give you any prep for this before, but any movies or shows that you've seen maybe during quarantine, maybe before, that are on streaming platforms that you suggest someone to check out?
Yeah. I don't know if you have any like true crime or like
I love true. I mean,
type of listeners.
Sure, yeah.
And this isn't necessarily true crime, but more documentary style. I've been into World's Toughest Prisons right now on Netflix. There's like 4 seasons, hosted by a guy who was wrongfully convicted in the UK of murder and spent 12 years in jail there before he was released. And now he just goes all around the world interviewing different like inmates and stays at these prisons. It's really interesting.
That is interesting.
Hour-long episodes, so worth a shot.
Ooh, I love hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting my money's worth, even though it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely like worth like the investment. My suggestion, and I watched this at the beginning of quarantine, but was very shocked at how much I liked it. Dave by Lil Dicky on Hulu. That actually was really good. I'm not particularly a Lil Dicky fan, his music at all. Didn't really know much about him personally. But they did a really good job with the show. I thought it was really funny. It was really well done, and I'm like excited for season 2. And it's not just stupid, funny humor. Like, it's also like a good, like, well-written show about like his relationship. Also, not in real life, but this fictional like girlfriend and everything. Like, they do a good job, and even the side character. So I thought it was well done. But would definitely say check that out if you haven't already. Again, I know that was kind of bigger at the beginning of quarantine, and I know quarantine has gone through phases. Like, we had a Tiger King phase and everything, so that was near that time. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, Dave was pretty good.
I know.
That is all I had, Madison. Anything else you'd like to add?
Maybe I would just like to say that I named one of my fish Hellstar. I don't know if I told you that. But.
I don't know if you did, but I love that, actually. That's great.
So that's my parting fun fact. And thank you so much.
Shout out to Hellstar the fish.
Yes.
AV crew, Liv, Lindsay, anything you all would like to add?
Just lucky to be here.
They're just happy to be here.
Yeah. Definitely a fan of Just Go With It. Just Go With It.
Oh,
Yeah.
so huge fans of Just Go
Yeah,
With It.
yeah.
So
We
if
got
you see
second
them-
votes on that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, anyone listening, thank you all for checking in and listening. We are back. Until next week. Peace.
Peace.